Okay.
All right, that was interesting. Uh, First production era, everybody. I had something up while playing the intro music, so I was getting a little bit of reverb, and we'll work on that. Anyway, so this is the very first official episode of the VGAHL this week. Um, as we go along, we will work on the production and make sure that things get better as we progress. Um, so anyway, that being the this being the very first episode, I just want to go over a couple things on what we're trying to do here. So weekly time every week, 5 p.m. Saturdays. The format will be kind of like a radio broadcast, and we will go over certain things that are going on in the league, such as who's hot, who's not. We'll do a power ranking. We'll go over some league standings and whatever else may come about. We are looking for a second co host. Um, Currently, it is just myself and Sports Geek, and we will be looking to add to the team to get a little bit of back and forth and um, different opinions as we move forward. And the purpose is to just create a little bit of life within the league. You know, the league at times seems to lack a heartbeat, and we want to kind of give it a little bit of a heartbeat. So that is the purpose of the show, and hopefully we can get a third co-host to sign on because I'm not sure how interesting myself and Sports Geek can be, and maybe we can get somebody else. Sound about right, Sports?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
I'm gonna bore some of the new guys because I just wanted to go over a quick little recap of last season and what we saw in season 12. It was my first full season as a manager in the AHL, and it was interesting. I myself had a pretty successful year. Um, Sports Geek, I don't know how he did. Probably not so good. Um, I just wanted to go over sports. Like, what was your overall feeling about the level of competition last season?
Competition was good. It was my second season in the VG. Um, I was a manager at the PHL, and then I was AHL last season, and now I'm AHL again. And the talent seems good again.
Yeah, I definitely felt that the level of competition was pretty good last year, and I definitely noticed a significant rise come playoff time. How about you? Never mind, forget it. You weren't in the playoffs. Um, yeah, I mean, it was a fun year. It was very interesting, and as we moved along into the playoffs, it definitely picked up. Um, I'd also like to give a quick acknowledgement to the last season champs, the Ice Caps. They beat out my Texas Stars in the finals last season. So hats off to them and Odia, who moved up to the NHL. Uh, he put together one hell of a team, and he was able to knock my guys out. But anyway, enough with the boring stuff and on to this season. Um, Wanted to go over a little bit of bidding. You know what we saw in bidding. Uh, was there anything in particular that you took away from bidding?
A lot of people went for a high price at the start of the bidding.
Yeah. I felt like there was, some people just shelled out ridiculous amounts of cash. Primarily the first name that pops off to me is Kush Demon. going for 7 mil. I mean, do you think a guy like that is worth it? Like, what warrants a guy getting 7 million off of a 16.25 cap?
In the AHL, I would say no, but if he was in the NHL, I would say he is worth it. But the guy is definitely worth that amount of cap.
So you think he's worth that in the AHL?
Yeah.
Despite the fact that that's almost 50% of an entire team's cap? I don't know. I mean, I know he's good, and it seems like it's paying off for the Comets. The Comets seem to be doing pretty well thus far, but that's a lot of cap for one guy.
But isn't he a game changer for them since he's like their all-star player? And
Yeah,
isn't he worth it if he's being their all-star player?
yeah. I mean, if he can carry a team, but I just don't know how much that holds up as we move along and we get into like stiffer competition. Especially come playoff time. You're gonna have teams that play defense the right way, and is one guy going to be able to? Will he even be around then? I mean, will he be up in the NHL by then? I don't know.
I
I
think
mean,
so.
I guess if he moves up, then that's 7 mil that comes off the books anyway. But it's just a lot of cap for one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what else did you notice? I mean, was there anything in particular as far as, you know, did you see more money being shelled out for forwards, or was defensemen? It seemed to me like the defenseman, uh, the pick of defenseman was kind of thin.
Yeah, it usually is thin in all the leagues. It usually is thin with defense, but I thought that a lot of people went after forwards more than defensemen.
Hmm. Yeah, I noticed there was a few big names such as John McClain. He went for like 3.2, and then Chelios 24 went for like I'm pretty sure he went for almost 3 mil as well. I could see shelling out for a defenseman if you get the results. If you are getting the results, then I guess it could definitely be worth it. Forwards, I don't know. I find them to be kind of this. They're very bountiful. Um,
Okay.
so, sports. What do you feel are the struggles when you approach bidding? Like, is there anything in particular that you find to be difficult about bidding?
How much cap to spend on a player and when to stop bidding on that player?
um, is there any strategy that you use without giving away any of your tricks?
I don't really have I guess when to make the bids.
Yeah. You try and like sneak them in at night or something. Everyone else is asleep. Yeah. Uh, the one thing that I find most interesting about VG bidding is the fact that it's an open bid. You know, it's a lot different than LG. I don't know if you ever done any bidding in LG, but it's a lot different where you could actually see the team that's bidding on it, bidding on your guy, and I feel like that could
Mm-hmm.
almost create some sort of animosity, before the season even gets started. Uh, Do you feel that way about anybody in the league right now? Is there any guys that outbid you on someone and you're a little sour over it?
Not really.
No.
Didn't really happen to me this season.
Yeah. Well, I know that I'm pissed at you over something.
Yeah, no. I thought this was coming.
You scumbag.
Thanks.
Um. Yeah. So I mean, me personally, I find it I find it kind of challenging to you're trying to allocate funds to where you need them. You don't want to leave your offense short. You don't want to leave your defense short, and um, you also need to be strategic in putting out X amount of bids because you don't want to just throw everyone out there. Next thing you know, you got 13 guys wrapped up, and one of your guys gets bid up, and you're handcuffed. So it's definitely a struggle in that sense.
Yeah, that's another thing I felt like I saw this season. At the start of the bidding, I felt like a lot of new GMs just bidded on like 8 players at once. Once the bidding started.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I remember looking at the board, and I saw Albany had like, I don't know. I think they bid 13 guys right away.
And yeah, I think Springfield did the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I never. I always felt like you don't want to come in and just blow your load right away. It's never a good idea.
It's true. It's not because then you're not able to attract what cap you have and what cap you don't.
Yeah, then you lose all the strategy that's involved. Um, On to a week one recap. Just want to go over week one real quick and what's been going on there. Um, so who did what? Like, what did you see right away coming out of week one? Is there um anything that surprised you? Is there any teams that you feel you didn't think would be there, but they are there?
Mm, I thought some of the bottom teams that are like one in something at the moment, I thought a couple of them could have been better this week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't really have a surprise team that came that was winning that shouldn't have.
Yeah. I know what the surprises for me are. I'm kind of surprised that the Toronto Marlies and then also the Hartford Wolfpack. I felt like both of those teams, especially the Wolfpack, it's only week one, so I guess we don't want to jump to conclusions, but I felt like those two teams would have been a lot stronger out of the gate. Especially Hartford. I mean, they got a really solid team on paper with Ty Lee, and I don't know what's going on with Philu Ken. I don't know if he's actually playing or whatever, but doesn't seem like he's played any games thus far.
Hmm.
Um, so that was definitely a shock to me. Uh, you know, Thought Texas might have done a little bit better. I mean, with the names that they have, and they had a
Why, you
good
thought
week,
they should
but
have just lost one game, or you didn't think they should have lost any games?
I don't know. I mean, you would think that they just overpower people, Especially, I don't know who they played in week one, but you would think they'd just straight up overpower people.
Oh, I played them twice this week. They weren't really like an overpowering team.
No,
Yeah, they weren't really like an overpowering team.
did
They
you?
have the offense to me, but they have the offense there.
Hmm.
But yeah, they'll be a team that will stay up there and play some good hockey during the season.
Hmm. What about the Chicago Wolves? Are they a surprise in the positive light for you?
I don't really know them that well, but to me, they are some of the players that they do have. Sorry, their stats, and that looks like a team that could be a team to play against that will be hard to play.
Yeah. Ran by Creep and Jay Stevens. I mean, I know Jay Stevens has been around for a while, and I know that he knows what he's doing. So I'm sure that they've put together quite the team. Geno Snipe in over there as well. Um, Puts up a lot of points. Solid player. So yeah, they could be trouble moving forward.
Hmm.
Um, any other surprises that we saw? I don't know. You mentioned the Barracuda.
Yeah, I thought the Barracuda has the offense to. I thought they could be better than what they are at the moment with the 1-7 record. I thought they could be better because I thought that they have an offense, and I thought they would have had goaltending since they were able to pick up a lot of goaltending in the bidding.
Hmm. They also have Knight on the back end, don't they? Defending Calder Cup champion.
I think so. I'll double.
Yeah, I think he was with the team. That's what I think I saw anyway. But then again, Dancing Tank did put the team together, so I mean, I guess you can't expect much, right?
Yeah.
Um, as far as players go, uh, is there anyone that you feel underperformed or overperformed in week one?
Not not that I can think of at the moment.
I'm looking down the goal leaders. You got Geno Snipe, Top Shelf God, Kush Demon, Nightwing, Simple, Tylee, Reaper, Centerfront, and Canadian Kush, and then followed up by Marty C's. Marty C's with 11 goals. How many? I got to check how many games he's played. Um, I mean, he's a solid player, but it's to see him up on the leaderboard is a little bit shocking to me. Also, Nightwing with 14 goals. All right, so moving on. Um, Power rankings. Want to go over some of the power rankings that we drew up before?
Sure. Yes, we'll go over them.
All right. So we put together some power rankings. We'll go over them. Uh, the full version of the power rankings should be coming out sometime this week. I believe that Scals is putting them together, and they should be posted on the site sometime within the next few days. So you'll be able to check out the full version. We put together our own quick little abbreviated version. We put down the top 10, and these are the top 10 teams that we have as far as power rankings are concerned. Um, I guess, as the season moves along, this will change, but as of right now, basically just seems to be the standings, more or less. So coming in at number one, we have the Albany Devils, who posted a 8-0 record in week one. They are backstopped by Bobcats, SW Bobcats, who posted a 776 save percentage and a just over 3 goals against average with 3.10 goals against. Um, they put together quite the offensive force with some names that I'm sure you guys have heard of before. But they are currently being led by quite a prolific forward group of Semple, who's posting 3.5 points per game. Nick's X98, who's at 2.3 points per game. And then the real Benz, who's at 2.50 points per game. And I played this team this past week, and let me tell you, we had them down early by like 3 goals, and next thing you know, we were down 4-3, and it happened in the blink of an eye. And Nick 98, who is currently not even the leader on the team as far as points are concerned, the guy can play, and before you knew it, it was the Nick X98 show. The offense is posting 5.7 points per game. You know, that's when a team is posting 5.7 points per game. and you need to be able to surmount that. It's not easy, right? Sports.
No, it's not easy to stop that goal scoring team that easy.
Did you have the pleasure of playing them?
I was not able to play them this week.
Uh, they have a few matchups coming up this week. Some interesting ones. I look to see who's going to hand them their first loss, and we'll actually go over some of those matchups later on. Anyway, so moving forward, we have Albany Devils at number one. We ranked the Ontario Reign at number two. The Ontario Reign, um, they posted a 7-1 record, and they posted a 7-1 record, led by Reaper and Kid Money. They have two strong goaltenders in El Rookie and Sergeant Vandos, who I remember seeing the bids come in for Sergeant Vandos, and I guess I was kind of wrong in the sense where I thought it was ridiculous because any sort of interactions I've ever had with Sergeant Vandos, as far as the game is concerned, and seeing him play, I didn't have a very favorable opinion of him. How about yourself, Sports, as a player?
For me, he has his moments. He has his good and he has his bad moments, but usually it's good.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I if I remember correctly, he was on the Bridgeport Sound Tigers last season, and I don't remember him having
Mm,
an
I
easy
don't think he
time.
was. I think he was on Cleveland Monsters last season.
Was it? He didn't spend any time with the Sound Tigers.
I'll double check that, but I think he was just with the Cleveland Monsters.
All right. Well, anyway, even whether it was in VG or not, I never remembered him being that good. But he seems to be doing pretty good this year because he's posting a 836 save percentage. So whatever it is working for him in Ontario. El Rookie, who is splitting time with Sergeant Vandos, is posting a 848 save percentage. So both their goaltenders are definitely doing well. Uh, you consider the fact that you have Reaper and Kid Money over there, and you add a guy like Champ and then Orion James, and they have quite a formidable offense. And if they can continue to post that type of defense and goaltending, coupled with that offense, then it could be a recipe for disaster for the rest of the league. So Ontario Reign number two, 7-1 record. Providence Bruins 6-1-1. Off to a good start. Bob Golucky backstopping them. He's posting a save percentage of 819 and a goals against average of 246. So they're another team that is getting some good goaltending, and I have to say, Sports, I'm noticing a trend here. It seems like a lot of these teams towards the top and towards the top of the power rankings are have pretty good goaltending.
Yeah, well, goaltending helps with teams being able to win their games.
Number four, Lehigh Valley Phantoms, and they are led offensively by Gower X71, who is currently putting up 2.33 points per game. T Golding 007, who's putting up 2.5 points per game, and then Canadian Kush 2121, who is putting up a very significant 3.5 points per game. And you know, Sports, whether your defense is good or not, any team that has offensive weapons such as that, especially Canadian Kush with 3.5 points per game, they're probably going to do well, right?
Yes, it's hard to stop someone that's able to score that many goals in a game.
Mm, yeah, that is for sure. They seem to be splitting time actually between three goaltenders. Robbie, who I actually know is a defenseman, Chrome USAF, and then Jay Barnett. Um, with Chrome leading the way at a 829 save percentage and an absolutely microscopic 1.85 goals against. Uh, and if you got a goalie who is only allowing under 2 goals against per game, uh, he's going to give you a good chance of winning. You know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
Yep. And that being said, this is a team that is going to give people problems because you got the offense, you got the goaltending, but the real strength of this team, if you ask me, has got to come on their back end. With Chelios 24 and then hit by the best 95. Hit by the best, the left defenseman. Very, very solid. And then Chelios 24, who's posted great numbers in his career thus far in the VG, and this team could be a problem moving forward.
Now, I don't really know who Chelios is. What is he? A very good D man?
Yeah, he's posted some pretty good numbers moving up through the PHL, and then even recently in the tournament that he just had. What is it? WC tournament.
The
He
World Cup
also,
tournament
yeah, he
or the
also,
World League?
yeah, the World Cup, the one that they just had. I think that's what it was.
Hmm.
But yeah, he also had really good numbers there. I think he played for, I don't know, I'm just off the top of my head. I think it was Dream Team or Trump Train. I don't know,
Okay.
but yeah, he did really well there. So that's a solid team from top to bottom, and definitely need to keep an eye on them in the East moving forward. Uh, Utica Comets coming in at number 5. Um, obviously, the first name here is Kush, right? I mean, he's putting up almost 6 points per game, which is just ridiculous. Um, so whenever you have that, that's definitely money in the bank. And then you also have Burst Night Owl, who is putting up 4 points per game. Um,
Hmm.
you know, when you got two players that are able to put up those types of numbers, uh, it's definitely a challenge to opposing teams. The one thing that pops out at me, and I'm curious to know about with the Utica Comets is, do these players play together or are they just playing on separate lines? Because I don't know if you ever played with Kush. I'm pretty sure you've played with Burst before, but it doesn't seem to me like these two players their style of play would mesh.
I played them the other night, and they were both in the lineup, and they did play. I don't remember if they passed to each other or anything. Wasn't really paying attention to that, but they did win, and they played good hockey.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't know how those two mesh moving forward. And to me, this Utica Comets team, despite the fact that they're number fifth on our power rankings list, they're a bit of a wild card. I really don't know where they go. I don't know if Kush is going to be with them for the full season or what's going on there. But they got that huge cap hit hanging over their head. So
I doubt he would stay with the team because I would think the NHL owner made all those bids to get that player so high up there, so he could probably get that player mid-season.
so you think he will be going up to the NHL?
Yes,
Hmm.
player of
Yeah,
his caliber, I think
yeah,
will go move up to the NHL.
yeah. I could definitely see that. And I'll tell you what, if that happens and they're the goal's 4 it goes down, they could be in trouble because from what I'm seeing here is their goalie Stylish, I think his name is putting up. I'm sorry, is allowing 4 goals a game and it's only posting a 765 save percentage. So nothing too spectacular there. And if this team stops scoring at the rate they are scoring at, could spell trouble.
Hmm.
Moving over to number 6, the Rockford Ice Hogs. They have a very solid team and a lot of guys who, from what I saw, have some NHL experience. Like I'm gonna butcher his name, but Deerchick 218. He's one of the leaders on this team offensively. Datsuk, who is another guy that I saw. I saw in bidding, and I don't really bid on people who I don't know, who I haven't seen play. And despite the fact that Datsuk has good stats, I didn't know what type of player he was. So I stayed away from him. But nonetheless, he's got very good stats, and he seems to be replicating that again this season. Also led offensively by Cinerant, who happens to be one of their captains. I think he's the assistant captain, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the main I don't know. So, you know, definitely doing well. And Datsuk is leading out of all of them with 4.17 points per game, which is pretty powerful. So this is another team who, you know, could be a problem moving forward. Uh, I'm reading through Sports Geeks' notes as I go over all this, and well, I can tell you this: I could probably solve a Rubik's cube quicker than reading through his notes.
Thank you.
But yeah, at least he put the notes together. So, um, number 7, Bakersfield Condors, and I'm just gonna freestyle this one because this is my team. Uh, we have a solid offensive core, nothing too overpowering. Led by the Pain Train, 67. He's spent some time in the NHL and he's been around for a while. He's a very capable player, very dangerous player. Intro 99999. You say that enough times and you start to feel like you're in Nazi Germany. But he another very solid player, good center. And then we recently acquired Sully Dog 617 from the Cleveland Monsters. I was gonna say Lake Erie Monsters. From the Cleveland Monsters, and he's fit in pretty well here. We moved him for a defenseman who didn't quite fit in, and we seem to be doing well. It's good first week, and our starting goaltender has yet to see the ice. How about that?
Come on, Pony.
Yeah, get out there, Pony. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think he's got turf toe or something like that. Hershey Bears at number 8, and this is another team, honestly, that I could have said was a surprise, just simply for the fact that I don't know if you do, but I personally am not all that familiar with the Hershey Bears.
I am a little.
There's a few guys on their roster, but not overly familiar with them. Let me take a look at their roster real quick. So Steel City fan, we do know him. SP guy mainly, right?
Yes, he's
I
been an SB guy, and I think he's in LG in another league a little bit.
yeah.
And then I know Carilla. I saw him during the off-season play. And then I saw one of their defensemen's Cowboy play also. And I think Too Much Skills pretty decent. And all three of those names I know have played in the NHL before.
Mm-hmm. Um, I'll tell you the stat that pops out at me for the Hershey Bears. Um, G.I. Bray, the goaltender,
Hmm.
through 6 games played, he is posting a 891 save percentage and under a goal against per game.
So would you
That's
say he's worth the cap hit that he got?
what was his cap hit? I didn't get to see what his cap hit was.
2.5.
2.5. If he's doing that, I don't know if he's a product of his defense or if his defense is a product of him. But if it is the latter, then I would say he's certainly worth 2.5.
Nice.
Um, but I mean, his statistics, you know, early on are definitely second to none. That is for sure.
Hmm.
Number 9, Rochester Americans. Malvo and who's he Watson is running this team. I don't know. I forget the other guy.
Plastic World.
Plastic World. That's him. Yes. He just said something before in the chat. So yes, they're running the Rochester Americans, coming in at number 9 on the power rankings. Seem to be a well stacked team through the ranks as far as just guys all around who can play. And then they add 311 and Blackhawk, two of which are well, those two guys are NHL guys. They've been in VG, also playing in other leagues and doing well. Dirt McGirt is a guy who I had over in another league a few seasons ago, and despite the fact that he may not put up incredible numbers, he's a very smart player, a very effective player, and extremely serviceable center. 311 is currently putting up 3.17 points per game, and then Blackhawk, who's putting up 3.50 points per game. So when you got two guys like that who are putting up those types of numbers, there's no wonder why you're coming in the top 10 at number 9 in the power rankings. So they could definitely be a problem moving forward. Rounding out the top 10, and then the rest we're not going to go into. We're just going to do the top 10, and the rest you can read on the website when they are posted. But rounding out the top 10 is the Chicago Wolves. Geno Snipe, is posting a 5.29 points per game. Mars 03 follows him up with 3.25 points per game, and Rocket Rissard with 3.75 points per game. So 3 guys all putting up really solid numbers. Your defense at that point just needs to be able to not implode. So if they can continue that offensive push, they could be a problem. Any comments here on the Wolves sports?
No, I think with those 3 players, they'll be a good team, and I think the defense should be pretty solid.
Yeah. League leaders. Who's hot? Who's not? Wanted to go over some of the league leaders that we've seen early on, and a lot of this can change, but who knows if it does or if it doesn't. Point getters, leading point getters. Geno Snipe is leading with 37 points on the season. Top Shelf God is following him up with 33 points. Quick 32 with 25 points, and then Reaper right behind him with 23 points. Kush Demon 23 points. And Ty Lee also on this list. Lee Malvo, 21 apiece. The leaders in goals, Geno Snipe, he's getting a lot of his points from goals because he's posting 23 points thus far throughout the season. Top Shelf God apparently likes to go top shelf because he's got 16 goals on the year. Kush Demon, 15 goals on the year. And then a few other trickling down with Semple, Tylee, Reaper, 14, 13, and 12, respectively. The assist leader currently is Top Shelf God with 17 assists on the year. Quick 32 also with 17. And Johnny QC also with 17. So, what do you think of any of those guys, Sports? Got any comments on them?
No, they're all pretty well known names, so it's not surprising that they're all up there.
Johnny QC, solid player, huh? You've played with him before. Is he on your team? No, he's not. He's on
I have
Texas.
not played with him before.
Yeah.
I've never really known about him until this season because a couple guys on my team have talked about him.
Mm-hmm. Power play goals. Power play goals leader is currently Reaper, 2313 with 4 power play goals on the season. Jaws Cal and Lazy Eye actually share that with him with 4 apiece. Any other noteworthy stats? Points per game, Crazy Try, 6 points per game, Kush Demon. Well, that's surprising. Crazy Try actually has more points per game than Kush Demon. I don't know if that was just one good game that he had or whatever, but yeah, good for
I would
him.
think it's just one game. I would think Kush is probably scoring almost every game.
Yeah,
I think Crazy Try probably only scored like had one big game.
maybe. Could be. Your plus minus leaders, I actually appreciate the plus minus stat. I know a lot of people don't really pay attention to it, but I've always thought that it's a help as far as letting you know what's going on. But G Campbell 13, Utica Comments leading the way there. Ben's from Albany is 20 plus 20 on the year. Nick X 98 is plus 19 on the year. Blakeman 22 plus 18 on the year. I'm sure my team would find this funny, but To The Max is leading the league in hits with 67. So good for him. And I think that's about it as far as the stats are concerned. I don't think there's many more that we need to really go over. Well, actually, what are the goaltenders doing? Let's see what the goaltenders are doing. Who's leading in save percentage? Well, actually, Reaper's leading in save percentage. Any actual goaltenders on here? Buzzman 100. He's the highest one that I know is actually a goalie with 868. No, this is last season. What am I doing? Hold on. Wait, we suddenly went into last season. I don't know what happened here.
I think it looks like it
Yeah,
looks like Bobcats is the one that has the best save percent, best save
no,
right now.
no, that can't be. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, we went into last season. We were in this season. Now we're in last season. Whatever. All
But
right, moving on. We'll chalk that up to a site glitch. So moving forward, looking into next week, week 2. What are we looking for? Is there anything that we should be looking for moving into week 2?
see what teams will have a better record and see if the good teams will not do so hot next week or this coming week.
Right. Speaking of which teams do you feel currently that aren't doing so well will bounce back in week 2?
I'm gonna have to say the Griffins or the Gulls.
Gulls. I got them circled as well. What about the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins?
Where are they?
Currently 4-4 on the year. I would think that they probably would have been able to do a little bit better than that, but again, it is early.
It's
Uh,
early. I feel like they'll probably move up,
hmm,
and I feel like they'll probably have a better record next week.
yeah.
But they have the offense, but do they have the defense on Wilkes-Barre?
I don't know. They have, I think, one of the brothers on that team, right? Tabuku, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, they have Tabuko, and I think they have. Do they have one other or just him?
Uh,
No, they just have him because the other two are on. One's on Hershey and one's on the Comets.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, 11. Do you know anything about him? He went for 3.5 mil. I actually don't know him.
I don't know him either.
Why did he go for 3.5 mil?
I don't know. Would you like to X Wade?
What?
Bad joke. I said, would you like to X Wade?
I have no clue. That's why I'm asking you.
No, I don't know the guy. The only thing I could think of is probably a friend of Wade or something like that.
Hmm, it's an expensive friend. Uh, is it too early to call a favorite in the league? Is it too early to say anyone's a favorite? You have Albany 8-0, okay, uh, with a positive 21 goal differential. Um,
If I would say that there are favorites right now, just because it's a known team and they have a lot of caliber players on it, I would say Lehigh Valley Phantoms. I would say that they could be a favorite.
hmm. What about you got Reaper and Kid Money over in Ontario? You think maybe they could work some magic?
Again, I feel like they have the offense, but do they have the defense there? And they have the goaltending there.
In Ontario?
Yeah, I know they have the goaltending and the offense, but do they have the defense?
I know that they have Heather LB, who is a decent defender. Um, and they also have Prodigy on that team, who did well last season. I know he spent some time with Bakersfield. He started in the PHL and graduated up until the AHL, and he's a pretty solid defender when called upon. And then Heather, so I don't know. Right now their goaltending seems to be pretty good, so they don't seem to be having many issues as far as keeping other teams off the board. And when you have players such as Reaper and Kid Money and Orion and Champ who can put up a ton of points, I don't think they're going to have too many issues.
But yeah, I feel like this season there's definitely like 4 or 5 teams that could be great teams slash good teams to make it to the playoffs this season. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of it's hard competition this season in the AHL.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like last season there was a lot of, the standings were like top heavy, and then there was just a lot of bottom dwellers. This season, it seems to be like the level of captains and team management. I feel like is significantly better this season. So, you know, I guess it's only natural that the talent be spread out more. I feel like it's going to be a lot tougher to get into the playoffs this season because you got so many teams that were able to, you know, be sure that they fielded a really solid team. So,
Yeah, because right now there's a mixture of the good and the mixture of the bad. After the first week.
Yep. And then you have teams like Milwaukee, who are led by Spy King, who, well, I don't know. He has a problem understanding which is his ass and which is his elbow. Um,
Identify.
uh, so, uh, moving forward, week two, moving along. Any matchups that pop out at you that you want to see?
Probably the Stars. The Stars and the Wolves are one matchup I would want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're both very high-powered offenses.
Yeah. What else you got on there?
I also have the Devils against the Wolfpack,
Mm-hmm.
and then for my final game, I have the Phantoms against the Americans.
Hmm. Any particular reason why you highlighted those games?
Thought all of them had are all very good matchups, and I thought they all were offensive, and a couple of the games were too defensive, where the teams had to be very defensive because both teams are very offensive minded.
So you'd like to see a little bit more defense coming out of them.
Yeah. Yes.
Sounds good.
What matchups did you do this week?
Week two matchups that I'm looking forward to is I'm looking forward to see Rockford go against Providence. You got two division leaders there, one in the Central, one in the East. Um, so definitely would be interesting to watch those two teams go at it. Uh, really look forward to seeing what matchups they throw at one another, who they end up putting out. But two solid teams, two divisional leaders at this current point in time, so that should be a lot of fun. I also look forward to my favorite team, the Condors, going head to head against the Ontario Reign. These are two divisional rivals, led by the Condors led by me, and the Reign led by Reaper and Kid Money. Um, Little bit of bad blood last season in the playoffs, and divisional rivals again. So I definitely look forward to that one, and that should be a lot of fun. Um, Also, an interesting matchup to me was the Devils and the Comets. Main reason being is because you have two very high-powered offenses. Um, uh, I'm gonna go ahead and say questionable defense. I know that they might not like to hear that, but I'm definitely going to call both of them to be in question as far as defense is concerned. But very powerful offensively, and I first and foremost, I'm curious to see if it's Kush Demon and Burst Night Owl who gets thrown into this game because there's a chance that you could have a whole bunch of really, really potent offensive players in this matchup. So that should be fun to see.
So, do you think that game's going to be defensive or no? Because both teams have the high-powered offense there, and no one's going to be able to stop the puck.
Well, considering the fact that I just spent at least about 45 seconds talking about these teams' offense, probably more expecting a little bit more offense than defense.
Okay, my bad.
Uh, um, and then I'm also looking forward to all the games involving the Wolfpack and the Marlies. Uh, the reason why I'll be watching these two teams is because I think they are both a hell of a lot better than their records show currently. Specifically, the Wolfpack. On paper, at least, they are a very, very good team, a very solid team. And I didn't get to look through the scores of their games, but their record is is not too impressive at this current point in time, and I would think that they would be um, a little bit better, or maybe even a lot a bit better. They are currently 3-5 on the year, and I would assume that they would be a lot better than that.
On Thursday, the Wolfpack lost by 2 goals both games.
Yeah. So I guess they've been in a few tight ones, but came out on the losing end. Um, so that'll about wrap it up. Um, I guess that was kind of short. I feel like we weren't on very long. But it was the first week doing this, and I guess I'm working out some of the kinks to see what we're going to go with, see what we're not going to go with. Would love to get a third person in here because that alone makes it more interesting and have a little bit of debate, even maybe even a third and a fourth person. Um, because I'm not sure how long I could possibly spend talking to Sports Geek. So anybody who could be interested in joining us and being a part of this weekly, it could be a lot of fun, and as we get better at it and more together and more acclimated to what we want to do exactly, it can be a lot of fun. So come join myself and Sports Geek and do the do. Is there anything you want to add, Sports, before we sign off here?
No, I'm pretty much good. You?
Boy, I tell you, man, you got a lot of you're a very insightful person.
Thanks. I try.
You are amazingly insightful.
I know I'm not the greatest, but I try.
No, you're wonderful.
Stop.
All right, so that'll do it. Take care, and we will be back next week. You want to sing? You want to sing or something, Sports?
What? No, I gotta pee.
You got to pee. Sports has to pee. Alrighty. Bye bye.